manifold contains most of the complex and large machinery in Archon's heart.
You're approaching the stockpile of arc armor. I'll need you to collect a few pieces for me.
Resonant Fields is where the Enclave farmed much of its coral. Got the armor. The incandescent arch houses another loom gate.
The Ark of the Forge. Built to equip Archons. Watch out for that hammer.
The march was the passage walked by great and small Archons alike to reach wherever they were needed across the Enclave.
Stones that allow the arcs to sense the environment around them. On a functioning arc, you'll see them placed in paired sockets in their head.
So, the Ark's eyeballs?
Well, in appearance, otoliths certainly look like an arc's equivalent to our eyes, but they're also used for balance and sound perception. So, functionally, otoliths act as both eyes and ears.
Arcane Foundry. Every Archon was assembled and enchanted here.
titled An Enchanter's Guide to Governing Schemes.
Could I borrow it once you've finished?
Sure. I mean, you've heard it's a dry read. It's just a basic introduction to enchanting the Ark's governing schema.
Try. You get right by films. Why not try?
Just about anyone.
unpredictable and powerful.
One beacon and something seniors, as requested.
carapace chamber must be where each arc was fitted for its plating.
Got the eyes and ears. Otoliths. You know what I mean.
Up ahead, you'll find a stockpile of a thin material used for insulating magic. We call it...
Carapace.
Oh! You're familiar with it?
We used it to repair the magic leaking from the loom gate in the outskirts.
That's genius.
The emergence gate is one of several grand gates that was built to facilitate the transport of great archons. Apparently, it's no longer functional.
Carapace. Would have been easier to collect it this way the first time around.
That's everything we need. Oh, this will do wonders for my research. If only there was an arc I could try to repair, but alas.
We've got one here in the campsite. It's the one we followed through the veil.
What? Could I...
Could you... Would you...
Need help carrying it to Cassidy's hold?
Thank you.
I'll meet you there with the parts.
Ever since we learned of the verdant mines, I haven't been able to stop thinking about them. They were clearly well-resourced in regards to both labor power and knowledge. And they had an extremely intimate knowledge of the Enclave's technology. But I've just connected the dots. We've actually met someone who was around to see their rise and fall. Kenrick Stanild, the Eye, interim leader of the Enclave for upwards of 35 years.
Now that you mention it.
I don't know if he was involved with the events surrounding the Verdant Mine's attempt to take down the Veil, but he certainly bore witness.
So what are you thinking?
I'd like to send you out on a fact-finding mission for now. Meanwhile, I'll pore over my existing research for clues.
Gotcha. I'll be back when I found everything you're after.
Thanks, Bryn. I'll get to work here, too.
This treatise on tar... Sharper than you think. Most people couldn't even stand straight wearing one of those. You, however... Don't forget to block. not as protective, but great against the elements.
How are you feeling about our talk with Sev?
Surprisingly good. If there's one thing I know, it's when people are really listening. And that young man knows how to listen. He'll do what's right.
That should do it.
That was incredible.
It was certainly exhilarating.
Are you okay?
Yes, it's just no small feat to power an arc manually. Even a smaller one like this. It takes a lot out of me. We still don't know how the Enclave was able to catalyze an arc's ability to absorb raw magic on its own. Weavers certainly weren't powering them the way I just did.
Still, what a leap forward.
Indeed. You have no idea what this means to me. Thank you for all your help.
Isla, what you did, I have to say, I'm impressed. Perhaps I misjudged your ambitions with the Arcs.
Perhaps. That is an understatement. You've never taken me seriously.
Isla, I'm trying to
Just like you've never taken the Surgeborn seriously. I watched Bryn's expedition to the Underworks.
You left Cassidon's hold. That is against my direct orders.
Oh, just like you ordered to sweep hundreds of Surgeborn under the rug, instead of actually doing something about them.
This is your doing, somehow. What have you done to turn my daughter against me?
No one is against anyone. Our Weaver Band is here to help, starting with getting the Surgeborn under control.
Bryn didn't do anything wrong. Working with her has shown me what I've always known, deep down. That you've sheltered me from the truth for too long. And that there are people who value the work I want to achieve.
Isla, this isn't like you. These Weavers have corrupted your mind, or...
Your lies are what's been messing with my head. After all, we both know that's not the only thing you've lied about.
As the Eye, it is my job to hide things from you, from everyone, for your protection. And that's all I've ever done.
I don't want to hear another word from you right now.
Isla.
Just go.
Wow. That can't have been easy.
It was a long time coming. I need to go process all that just happened. But thank you for everything. And when it comes to dealing with the Surgeborn, just know that from now on, I've got your back.
Good to hear. We're going to need it.
I'm guessing Staneld family dinners have been awkward lately.
Try non-existent. I wanted to believe my father was a good person deep down, if driven by fear at times. Now, I just don't know.
You're pretty brave to stand up to your father, let alone the leader of the Enclave.
I should have done it sooner. I was blinded by love.
Our parents are supposed to teach us right from wrong. That moment when we have to trust ourselves and defy them? It's a big one. Not everyone could do what you just did. I know it took a lot.
Thank you. And Bryn? My father might be willing to let the Surgeborn take over, but I'm not him. I'm with you until the end, whatever it takes. Things between my father and I are maybe not improving, but shifting. He apologized for not taking my work seriously, and it seemed genuine this time.
Did he apologize for all the lying?
He's trying to make amends for that, in his own way. He's even brought me onto an enchanting project he's been working on. It's hard. Part of me wants the relationship we used to have back. A bigger part of me knows it's gone for good.
You're probably right that you can't go back. But if he loves you enough to atone, maybe there's a path for the two of you.
I know I need to keep my guard up for now. But truthfully, I want that more than anything.
Ah, Bryn. Good to see you. What was the outcome of your work with Isla? I'm still hoping to draw upon her expertise for my next task.
She got the Ark in our camp up and running. Only for a moment, but Isla was thrilled. It'll be huge for her research on regaining control of the Arks. But she had a pretty intense argument with the Eye afterwards. I think it was a long time coming. It seems like she's finally done letting her father manipulate her.
An interesting development. Is she all right?
I think so. Let's bring her over.
Please tell me you've got a distraction for me.
Are you all right, Isla?
I'm just, a little tired, is all. Between powering an Ark by myself and confronting my father on the same day. Even as a previous High Enchantress, it took a lot out of me. I'm still working my way through it. And I need to figure out an independent power source for the Ark. It's too much to think about.
I'm sorry. Should we do this another time?
No. Please. I need distractions. Or I might be tempted to set the hold ablaze.
Fair enough. What have you got for us, Karnatame?
An issue we faced in the early days of their appearance and are now facing once again is the ability of the Surgeborn to navigate the Enclave. Put simply, they are using our Loomgate network to traverse great distances in an instant. We can't let that stand. I'm only familiar with the Loomgate's design through my parents' work on them. But Bryn recently helped us access a supply cache in the Institute, and we found something that could help. A set of schematics for a device to block the Surgeborn from using the Loomgates while keeping them accessible to us.
A way to filter out the Surgeborn without endangering Weavers. It could significantly impact their ability to fight us. How can I help?
Well, they're incomplete, and I was hoping you could tell us what's missing. Here, take a look.
Let's see... A resonance modulator.
Bryn, while she looks over the schematics, do you have any questions?
Why didn't they finish the schematic?
My understanding is that at that time, our bureaucracy was growing to the point of being rather unwieldy. I still grapple with the remnants of that bureaucracy every day, so I can imagine that whoever was working on these schematics, let's just say that they were probably told to submit it to a committee before proceeding with the design.
Even though it was urgent and would have saved hundreds of lives?
For some people, propriety dictates priority. That's my guess, anyway. And, for the record, much of my life's work has been in service of streamlining that kind of bureaucracy. We cannot risk following the same path that led us to ruin.
Where's this device going once we finish building it?
The resonance modulator should connect directly to the harness. You've already been there.
Returning to the scene of the crime. Why there?
The harness acts as a central nexus that controls not just Asylum, but our Loomgates and all of the Enclave's transit points. Hence, why you were able to use it to open up the underworks in the first place.
At least I can't unleash the Surgeborn a second time.
Small mercies.
How do we know that this modulator will work?
Whoever designed this clearly knew what they were doing. It's beautiful, elegant work.
I'll say. It feels... familiar, almost. I can't quite put my finger on it.
We could check through the rest of the paperwork, see if we can find out who the author is, if you'd like.
Yes. I'd love to.
I've had enough. The sooner we get this modulator built, the sooner we can secure the Loomgates. I'm assuming you'll be the one to build this. What do I need to bring you?
To be frank, considering all your Weaver Band's achieved since you arrived, it's clear to me that you brought with you an expertise that we did not retain through the dark days of the Surge. With that in mind, I would love to leave this in your smith's capable hands. She must have had a world-class mentor.
She's primarily self-taught, actually. But I'll pass on the compliment. She'll be thrilled to hear it.
That's astonishing. Let's go through what's needed then. For the body of the device, you'll just need some calm steel. But the rest... Do you have any preliminary thoughts, Isla?
Yes. Like you said, it's amazingly simple. What's missing from the schematics is the part that allows us to calibrate it. But it's clear in my mind what the finished design should look like. Give me a moment. There. It's like the design itself wanted me, or someone, to finish it. To calibrate it, we'll need some representative samples of Surgeborn. Let's say husk and huskhound fur. Get plenty of both.
And then I take the finished resonance modulator to the harness.
Exactly.
It should be pretty obvious where to place it, too. You'll know, if you do it right.
Gotcha. Time to hunt a few Surgeborn. Hey.
Bryn. I haven't known you for long, but I can tell when someone's about to ask me a frustrating question. Out with it.
You forced my hand. So, what's the deal with you and Isla?
This is a workplace. We're colleagues. We both represent a number of guilds. By the flames, we're known for working well together, as our offices command. That's all.
All right, I'll buy it. So, how about all that sunshine we've been having?
Yes, the sun's out. Very astute. If that brilliant observation is all you have to offer, I'll thank you to let me get back to my work.
You are the last person I wish to speak to right now.
What did I ever do to you?
My own flesh and blood isn't speaking to me because of you.
She's not speaking to you because you lied to her.
It was for her protection. Information is power, and I will protect her at all costs. Even from you, if I have to.
And what is that supposed to mean?
It means you will soon learn that we can handle our affairs well enough without your help.
So, Isla, do you...
So, what do you make of the Eye hiding the extent of the Surgeborn threat from his colleagues?
From what I can tell, the Eye wants the same thing as everyone else. Peace in the Enclave. He just has a different way of achieving it.
Right. But lying to his own daughter is hardly justified.
He didn't lie. He merely withheld information.
There isn't really a difference.
Sure there is. Lying is deceitful and often involves betrayal. But at times, secrets are needed for protection.
Who are his secrets protecting? Him or her?
Well, her, of course.
Sev, I'd be careful of people who withhold information. You don't know what they're keeping from you.
I heard you and Solar confronted Sev in the hold. I know you thought he was doing something, maybe for or with the Eye. I won't pry, but did it go okay?
Sola did most of the talking. Handled it well. And then she used his full name to make her point.
Oof, poor guy. Well, whatever's happening, it's got the Eye excited. He's been moving supplies to the Grand Gate, and Sev's been seen down there too. It's a loom gate large enough for the Great Arcs. I'm still not sure why. He's seconded some enchanters and crafters and sworn them to secrecy. They basically live in a camp down there.
Might be trying to repair it. Sev has a knack for understanding how to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, but why? It bothers me no one seems to know except the Eye.
on, hold on.
Well, that did something. I should go check with the Axel that it worked. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
So the curves of the metal suggest...
I definitely think an enchanter had a hand in this, as well as someone with intimate knowledge of the loom gates.
Those two people could possibly be one person even. Though I can't fathom who it would be.
Keeping yourselves busy, I see?
It's a conundrum for the ages, that's for sure.
Ah, Bryn. You're back.
You've done amazing work with the resonance modulator. I'm certain this will be a turning point for us.
Thanks. But how do you know it worked?
The loom gate started glowing a strange color before you arrived. I took it as a hint that you'd succeeded.
Spoiled the surprise.
I'm sure the Surgeborn will be plenty surprised when they next try to use the loom gates.
Suffice to say, we're thrilled, Bryn. In a short time, you've done a lot to help us. We were, obviously, a little hesitant to trust newcomers.
Our first impression wasn't the best.
But now, we're in a much better situation when it comes to survival.
Happy to have helped. Without you two trusting me, I couldn't have achieved half as much. So thank you for letting me in. I'm glad to have gotten to know both of you.
It's been my pleasure, Bryn.
Likewise.
So, let's recap for a moment. 1, we've stopped Surgeborn from navigating the Loomgate network by using the resonance modulator. 2, we've made huge leaps forward in regaining control over the Arcs. 3, we've armed and supplied the Scouts.
It certainly doesn't cast our last decade of work in a forgiving light, does it?
Listen, you've been surviving this crisis for a long time the only way you knew how. But now you have a path to move forward. Your people can choose to follow it, or dwell on past mistakes. Are we ready to face this threat head-on together?
Yes. You're right. Of course you are. We're at the point, resource-wise, where we can start making moves.
I don't really want to speak to my father right now. But I agree that it's time we put pressure on him to do something. Anything. Regardless of what he does. You've earned our support, Bryn. But first, I'd actually like to steal Hirun for a while, if you don't mind. I have some notes to go over with her.
By all means. Have fun.
I suppose I'll just get right to it. Why do you treat me differently?
What do you mean?
Everyone else gets the stern you, the you who's in charge, the Axel. But I get the friendly face, the compliance, this you who I don't understand. Is it because of my dad? Because everyone answers to him? Are you trying to get close to him through me? I can't handle it, Hirun. I need to know that I'm not just being manipulated by everyone around me.
It's not because of that.
Then... what is it?
I spend time around you because I want to. To see you, to speak with you, to work alongside you, to see the look in your eyes when you solve a problem. Skies, I shouldn't... None of this is... If we could find somewhere else, beyond the gaze of the hold...
Irun. Stop. Take my hand. And we'll go. I have a place in mind. I didn't see it before, but I think... I would like to tell you of the ways in which you are important to me, too.
Drinks in the annex later.
God, after this day? Yes.
I'm in need of a cold ale myself.
Oh, Bryn. You were right. About the... requisitions.
Obviously. What's going on?
Arik, why don't you fill her in?
Our plan worked. The Eye is mobilizing the scouts for a large-scale attack on the Surgeborn.
I take it the Axle and the Spindle put him up to this?
Yes. Not that Khan Stanild is admitting that. He claims that with the supply shortage taken care of and the Ark restoration underway, now is the time to strike.
And Bryn is receiving due credit for all her work, I'm sure.
No.
So what's his plan?
The scouts will stage a distraction in the underworks, while the Eye and the Spindle do something to the Grand Gate. That's all I know. The Eye wants everyone to convene at Cassidon's hold for a speech to learn more.
He wants us there.
Khan Stanild loves an audience. Doesn't matter who's in it.
I thought you'd be happier about all this.
I have reservations about the Eye launching a plan using my scouts without consulting me.
The reality is, The leader of the Enclave has the power and influence we need to take a stand against the Surgeborn, regardless of how likable the man holding the title may be.
Power and influence, sure, but not the expertise.
We faced down Surgeborn and monsters, repaired lost innovations, and even won over the grumpiest of guild leaders. We're ready for anything, no matter what happens.
It can't hurt to hear his big speech before jumping to conclusions.
I'm here to escort you. Talk to me when you're ready. Ready to head to Cassidon's Hold?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Great. Hey, while it's just the two of us, I'll be deploying to the Underworks almost immediately after we arrive. Watch Khan Stanild for me, will you? I know Auriel wants you to give him a chance, but he can't be trusted.
I'm always ready for anything, Eric.
I know. Let's move.
Decades of caution have been rewarded, friends. For this moment, and not one sooner, is the precise time to strike. Today, we wrangle our lands free from the Surgeborn's grasp and reclaim our hearth once more, whatever it takes. None of this could be possible without the esteemed prowess of the Spindle. Her work on the Arcs has laid the foundation for my plan. She and I will proceed to the Grand Gate at once. Scouts, you have your orders. It's time. Whatever it takes.
Bryn, you need to come with me.
Now?
Yeah, no time to explain. And Aurea, you should get on the scry.
All right. Whatever you need.
Let's go. Sev, I know you said there's no time to explain, but want to give me a clue as to where we're going?
So, obviously I've been working with the Eye. Well, he had me repair the Grand Gate. It's connected to this place called the Source, and, I guess that's where the Surgeborn came from. He's got this plan to go there and solve this problem once and for all.
Right. I heard that part of his speech already. What does this have to do with us sprinting like an Ash Peak Drake is on our heels?
So there's, it's better if I just show you.
Perfect. As punctual as you are daring.
Sev, what's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, don't blame him. He's merely a puppet. Ironic, given I'm the one all tangled up.
So you can talk?
Of course. Only language could allow me to prey upon Kenrick's exquisite inadequacies.
You've been talking to the Eye? Manipulating him?
Into a foolhardy and preposterous plan that only an absolute imbecile could think was worth pursuing, yes. I've been down here for years, laying groundwork and learning what I could about your people. All towards a moment when I could convince Kenrick to act. I almost despaired he ever would. And then, along comes you.
Me?
Oh, yes. Kenrick is threatened by you. Terrified, even. In your brief time inside the Veil, you've accomplished so much more than he has in decades. Not that that's saying much. Still, you are the perfect catalyst for change. We have that in common, as you will discover in time. So now, he's going to open a gate to the heart of the Enclave, convinced he can recover it from us. And the one person I worry might be able to stop us is here, talking to me. You're fast, but even you can't run to the rescue now.
You've thought of everything. Except, why tell me all this?
Because you're too late to stop us. And even if you weren't, no one would believe you.
Sure. Unless they were listening.
Quit taunting it, Bryn. You've got work to do.
Isla, we must retreat!
No! I'm staying to fix this. Do whatever you can to buy me time.
The spindle told her to buy time.
Let's hope Hyla doesn't take too long.
Spirits. Okay. Weavers have always dealt with problems like this. Well, not just like this, but yeah. We'll figure it out. Aurea, she'll know what to do. Hey, Eric. I'm so sorry for your loss. How are you holding up after everything?
Thank you, but I don't think you want the real answer to that question.
I really do. You look like a pot about to boil over, and your people need you focused. So let me have it.
I knew Kenrick Stanold was incompetent, but this... I didn't think he was capable of this. He deploys my entire team, spreads us thin on no information. A plan that requires utmost secrecy, he called it. Swearing we would be given what we needed to know when the time was right. And then... nothing. A big speech, empty promises of victory, and the dawning realization among my team that we were a distraction. Meaningless forces to draw the Surgeborn's attention. And at that, we succeeded. While Kenrick, goddamn Stanold, ran for his life, they descended on my people like vultures swarming a corpse. Good people died because of that man. Good people will carry scars because of that man. It should have been him.
Bryn, I cannot fathom how you must have felt in that fight against the Surgeborn.
As strange as it is to say, I had the easy part.
Yes. The tragedy about Isla. So much talent lost. Wasted, even. I can't stop rolling what you said before we went to Cassidon's around in my head.
About how we were ready for anything. Kind of ironic now.
Yes. Quite. Though I cannot fathom who would have been ready for that. But your point was well made. We have overcome so much in this place, where others might have rolled over and given up. In moments of despair, the deep night, when most of you are asleep and the world comes alive, I keep thinking about it. We're ready for anything. You know, I believe we are.
He was always resistant to our efforts. Or maybe the Talon warned him of us, told him not to make contact.
Hey, Lane. How are you holding up?
Oh, fine. And you? Are you recovering from your latest near-death experience? We were all rather worried about you.
Thanks for the concern. A little sore today, but no lasting injuries.
Good. Good.
Are you sure you're fine?
I suppose I'm just recalling our interactions with the Eye, looking for signs that he would, you know.
Summon a massive Surgeborn through a loom gate to Cassidon's hold?
Yes, that.
We'd all love to predict the future. But smart as you are, even you can't do that.
Isla would still be here if I could.
I know. She saved us all.
Scholars rarely agree on much. But if there's one philosophy many of us share, it's that we must understand our past to build better futures. Maybe I couldn't have prevented this tragedy, but I can't help but mine the past for clues of what was to come. If only to stop it from ever happening again.
It's going to look great.
Isla sacrificed everything for us.
I still can't believe she's gone. Not too heavy, not too light.
spindle sacrificed everything for us. We could have lost Bryn just as quickly as we lost her.
Take them out from a distance, and they'll never know you were there. Good balance of protection and mobility.
to imagine the arc that brought us through the veil is the key to securing this. I know you're not one to shy away from a fight, but you should have known better than to go toe-to-toe with that thing.
Tasmin, I'm all right.
That's not the point, Bryn. I was really scared.
I know.
You're okay. That's what matters. Sorry, I just felt myself going back to a dark place.
I understand. I'm here, though. Safe and sound like everyone else.
You're right. We're all here. That's what matters. Just do me a favor and rest before you go after that thing again. I know you. You don't like to leave anything unfinished.
For your sake, and mine, I'll rest first.
Hey.
Hey.
How'd you feel?
Okay now, but it was touch and go for a while. Lane will probably never forgive me. For that matter, I might not either.
I knew that fight. The spindle, giving her life like that. It'd be on your mind all night. How could it not? And I've been mulling over what to tell you this morning. I had a speech planned, but you don't need a speech. You're like me. It'd ring false. So I'm going to tell you what I'd need to hear after something like that. You did good. It was an awful situation, but you stood up and did what needed to be done without hesitating. Not many people have that kind of grit.
You're right. I think that was what I needed to hear. Thanks, Aurea.
You deserve it. You've come so far in here. We've all had to adapt. But you more than anyone. Look. I know you, Bryn. You're made of stern stuff. You've the mountains in your bones. Any sense of doubt or being shaken is just snowfall. Temporary, and it'll slide off soon.
That was the part you practiced, right?
Yes. But that doesn't make it less true.
Okay. Okay. Thoughts on what we do next? We obviously need to deal with that beast. But where to start?
We need to get everyone together. Our band, Arakim too. And I want you to call the meeting.
Me?
Yes. You.
Do you know what's amazing?
Tell me.
Digging into the past and salvaging relics that change your understanding of everything we do. Maybe this is old hat for you, because you've been free to do it for so long.
I haven't been doing it that long, but I can't imagine it will ever get old.
Well, good. So, our relics of the day are those scries we recovered, which work very much like yours, which demolishes my original bet on ours having been affected by this surge somehow. My best guess now is that they're working so well because they were packed up so tight. I floated the idea with Dharm, and he was pretty into it. Want to join me in following up?
Oh, don't need me to do the asking this time?
No. I'm getting the hang of this.
It's good you're here, Bryn. We have a mystery to solve.
A scrinundrum. Ah, no, that doesn't work.
Scriddle?
Ah, damn it. That's so much better.
Oh, you two are fun. To business, though, what we need to really work on the scries is a new set of the tools I use to maintain ours.
Do you not have them?
Lost in our mad dash through the veil. I hadn't felt the urgent need to replace them just yet, but if we're to compare and contrast our 3 classes of scry, we'll need them.
Could we not borrow some from Arek's people?
I tried. I would consider their tools insufficient to our needs.
He's saying they're bad.
I'm saying they're bad, but politely.
What exactly do these tools involve?
They are so very fiddly. Small optics for examining the casing, tiny enchanted ones to target the patterns that form the images and keep the sound clear. That sort of thing. Like tuning an instrument.
We haven't needed these tools until now?
Like most Enclave enchantments, the scries are incredibly durable. I normally maintain ours every few months. We had more pressing matters at hand, until this mystery reared its head.
This is usually the part where I find myself wrestling a giant lizard or something. So you might as well just tell me now.
Bryn, you never fail to cut to the heart of the matter, but I have good tidings. We need you to pick a flower.
A flower? That's it?
Not quite. It's from a plant renowned for its magical sensitivity called Mirian's Bloom.
And the tricky part, Dharm was telling me, is that it can't be moved via any kind of teleportation. No loom gates and such.
Indeed, and complicating matters, it withers very quickly once picked. Lane and I can stabilize it, but we'll need our workstations here to do so, which means...
I'm going to have to run.
Pretty much. Sorry about that.
I'll just stretch extra. Do we know where I can find some?
Yes, in the swamp not too far from here, on the other side of the hollow.
Sounds like a plan. I know everyone's up in their heads right now, but we have real problems to solve. So let's clear the air.
Are you running this discussion, then?
She is.
Sev, this has to start with you. We knew you were working with the Eye. We told you we'd have your back. Help us understand what happened. Just breathe, Sev. Start from the beginning.
I'm sure Bryn and Sola told you all. But I belong to an order called the Norians. We're sometimes called the Watersmiths. Imagine my surprise to learn our talents had been critical to the construction of the tapestry. Our order binds us to always help another Norian. Especially a high-ranking one like Stanild. And to keep their secrets.
So that's how he sunk his claws into you.
Did you leave the Norians to become Sola's apprentice?
One never really leaves the Norians. Not with their life. If word got out about me betraying Stanild, I'd be a dead ram walking. But no. My people have a ritual known as Ram Bralem. It is a time to pursue another path. And Sola was kind enough to accept me for mine.
It's true. I knew it could be temporary, but was hoping you'd stay on after.
What did Stanild have you doing?
It was all work on repairing the Grand Gate. He'd heard about our success with the gate in the Hollow and felt I might be able to replicate it. Thanks to your help, I was able to do so. And he took me more into his confidence as a result.
Why is the Order so secretive?
We've always been critical to the survival of Taza. Water is life in the desert, and we control the flow of water. The Elders have a secret political chokehold on the kingdoms. The altruistic Norians will tell you the secrecy is so no one can undo our work. But I have my doubts. And so, the Order operates in the shadows. I imagine they were much the same here in the Enclave.
The most important thing is whether we can trust you.
Yes, Sev. Convince us.
I swear, nothing I did was intended to cause harm. Too many of my Order are political animals. But there is real good to be found among the Norians. Craftspeople who just wish to perfect their art. To bring water to people in need. To experiment, but need the resources to do so. Unfortunately, too many of those resources are controlled by people like Stanild. They're all the same. They see a point of control. Water, information, wealth, and they abuse it. I thought the secrets were a necessary evil for some great purpose, but seeing his chokehold on the Enclave, it's stagnation. You all have every right to distrust me. I am sorry. No more secrets. I just can't do it anymore.
If you can't be a Norian, then what are you?
If you'd have me, I'd like to stay.
Those of us who have been here longer than Sev. Thoughts?
It's hard to have divided loyalties. But you did the right thing in the end, and if you hadn't, we might all be dead. That takes courage.
Still wasn't quick enough.
I don't know what to make of any of this. I want to believe you, but it's hard in the uncertainty surrounding us.
When I was going through it, you all pulled together to help me.
You are all heard. And I would add that you joined us under false pretenses, Sev. You had loyalties outside the band you never disclosed.
I have a hard time accepting that he kept so much from us, but shared so much with the Eye. Who knows what Stanild, or gods help us, the Talon heard about us? Only time will tell how much damage that's done.
Lane, I hear you and I understand. Sev has real work to do to rebuild trust. Only you can decide when the apology feels real to you. Sev, that considered, you have worked tirelessly since joining us, and demonstrated an enterprising spirit and deftness as a smith. And before the blade could completely fall, you risked all by blocking it with your own hand. You can never be a Norian again. I do not sense that you wish to be. And who are the Weavers but a group of outcasts and misfits? Just trying to muddle through together. You will stay. And you will help. We have work to do. Tell us about Stanild's plan.
Thank you, Horia.
I'm sure we all have things we want to say. To Sev and each other. But that can wait. Right now, while we're all here together, we need to focus on next steps. But here's our challenge. That Talon. It spoke. It knew things it couldn't know about us. We're on the back foot and need to catch up fast.
Then let me, as Horia said, help. After I repaired the gate, Staniel took me completely into his confidence. He'd been questioning and learning from the Talon. Or so he thought.
Not realizing he was being manipulated.
He was increasingly estranged from his daughter. I'd wager he was desperate for a friend.
I'd agree. Based on what he'd learned from the Surgeborn from his friend, he put together a plan.
Use my people as a distraction to pull the bulk of the Surgeborn out of the underworks. All while he used the gate to... what?
There is a place, deep, deep underground, known as the Source. A feat of engineering unparalleled. It's the secret to the Enclave's power. The abundance of magic. The heart of the tapestry. The thing powering the Veil. There was only a single loom gate still connected to the Source after Asylum cleared all connections. And I'm the one who repaired it.
The Grand Gate would take him right to the heart of things, then.
Exactly.
Stanil thought he could... what? Sneak down there and fix things somehow? Tear down the Veil?
His hope was to go down and secure a working space, sealed off from the distracted Surgeborn. He wanted to eventually fix things with the help of the Spindle. All glory to his family.
That arrogant idiot.
He'd read in his personal archives there was a system designed to shut down the Source. In the hopes of discovering how it worked, he had been feeding information to the Spindle about it in drips.
Meaning she might have been working on a fix for the Source without knowing it.
Then we have to pursue her research, clearly.
Good. But we still have the problem Stanild never saw coming. A great Surgeborn.
Which almost certainly will be unkillable, if it operates like every other Surgeborn. It's hard to imagine any place more full of tangles than the literal source of the magic that's overflowing.
On that, I have an idea. If I'm right, we might be able to turn the tables and remove its advantage. I'll need Bryn's help if that's all right with everyone.
Of course. If it gives us a chance, we have to take it.
I agree.
Has anyone just thought to ask the Talon?
What would we ask it? Favorite color? Favorite way to disembowel Ashar?
No, she's right. It has clearly demonstrated an interest in Bryn. Maybe she could pry some information out of it.
I'm not sure I'll get much. But I'm also sure I'm not going to think it's my friend. So, worth exploring?
Then we have a path forward. Sev will pursue his thoughts on dealing with that beast.
My people have started calling it the Herald.
Of destruction? Doom?
Why not both? As I said, people are on edge.
Fine. Sev pursues weakening this herald. We work with the Axle to look into the Spindle's latest research. And if she feels like it, Bryn has a chat with our imprisoned Surgeborn.
As good a path forward as we are going to find. Let's call it here and get to work.
Bryn, I examined the wreckage at the Grand Gate after everything that transpired there.
Found something useful?
A kinetic strand, in fact. The Ark must have torn it from the Herald's pattern in the chaos of the battle.
Think we could weave it into my mantle?
I don't see why not. Its pattern appears to be quite similar to those found on wild creatures and Archons.
All right. We need every advantage.
Then let's get to work. And we're finished. This will be quite the powerful addition to your mantle.
How so?
This strand can twist kinetic magic into a tunnel. In battle, you could push debris or enemies through it and send them flying through the air quite forcefully.
Could I jump through it?
I suppose you could.
Hey, there's a lot of tall buildings, flying creatures. This is going to be great.
You're right. Just try to be careful.
Bryn, would you...
Check on Sev? Always. But how are you holding up?
I'm all right. Just worried about him, you know? He did the right thing in the end, and he seems to have come back to us for now, but all those issues that led him to the Eye in the first place, they aren't solved in a day.
He needs us now more than ever.
Exactly.
I appreciated your candor in the meeting, Sev.
It was terrifying. Wasn't sure I'd be allowed to stay. You didn't get to voice an opinion with the others. Are we...
All circumstances aside, you saved the day. Solar and I said we had your back, and it paid off. Quick thinking having the scry open.
I knew something was wrong the moment that thing started talking to me when Stanild wasn't around. It was very focused on you.
Me?
So much so that it said the only way the plan would succeed was if you talked to it. It reeked of trap. I didn't survive a decade around Tarzan Norians without picking up when someone's holding a knife behind their smile.
But you still took me down there.
Sorry. An educated risk. I felt there was nothing it could do and wanted the whole band to hear it talk. I don't think it understood we have the scry.
And Stanild wouldn't use one, of course.
The Talon was his deepest secret. Whom would he tell?
Can you tell me more about Stanild's plans for once he went through the Grand Gate?
He was counting on Isla. She was exceptional at protective fields. But even then, no. I don't think he had a real plan. The Talon had convinced him he'd be able to survive, and fool that he was, he trusted it. We can't afford that mistake. But I have a theory. You know how the weather sometimes skews wildly hot and cold?
Right. The aeroliths.
What else do we see on similar cycles?
Miasma.
Exactly. So, it follows.
You think the aeroliths are able to affect raw magic somehow?
I do. And in Stanild's private records and designs. I found notes specifically on aeroliths with Norian commentary.
You think the Norians were involved in their creation?
It would certainly explain why Tarza had such access to aeroliths before the Surge. If I'm right, this might be the key to making the source survivable.
Fewer tangles means less dead me. Absolutely. Where do we start?
You'll need to head to the Watersmith area of the Institute, and I'll guide you from there.
I hate to do this when we're already dealing with something like 7 distinct major crises each day. I've got 2 pieces of bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?
First one, absolutely.
Excellent choice. We have a stove problem. We use specially enchanted coals to maximize burn time and minimize weight, and we're dead out of them. And second, the stove itself is dented. Rather badly.
What? How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't do stove maintenance. I'm the logistics girl. Maybe Sev sat on it.
He's still got bum fur, so if he did, it wasn't on.
Regardless, this is a Dam and Sola fix. One problem each.
I'm not sure they're in the best place right now.
That's why I'm asking you. They both love you, and can be grown-ups for the good of the group. Oria's already sick of salad. So, about all that stuff I had you bring me. Turns out I don't need it as much as I thought I did when I was sleep-deprived and strung out.
Funny how much clarity comes from a nap.
Yeah. Anyway, I've put all those materials back in your chest. Along with a few other things Aurea and the band found cluttering the caravan.
Wow. Thanks, Kaz.
Don't mention it. Use it for whatever you want. Gear, weapons, fixing up the camp.
Hey, mind if we talk somewhere private?
Lead the way.
I won't be returning to expeditions. I've known for a while now, but I couldn't bring myself to admit it. My days as Point are over.
I thought you were recovering from your injury.
Not as well as I should be. That I got injured at all was a sign that I'm not as fast as I used to be. I should count myself lucky. Not many Points get a career this long, but I'm not ready for this to end. Especially here, of all places. What kind of legacy is it to reach the Enclave only to sit by the fire?
But you've had an incredible career. And it isn't ending just because you can't go on expeditions.
I know, but it's not the same. And some part of me was hoping to end on a big score. I thought if I found out who my father was, if he turned out to be some great weaver like my mother, it's silly.
Tell me.
I thought I could solidify my legacy in history. Make sense of what my own contributions have been, if anything at all.
You're an incredible weaver in your own right. You don't need impressive parents to prove that. And if you had to pick your last act as Point, isn't finding your way into the Enclave the biggest score of all? You're everything I want to be.
That's very kind. Maybe in time I'll make peace with what my career has been. But for now, it's too raw.
Is there anything I can do?
Unless you can give me a few years back. This is grief I'll need to sit with for a while.
I understand. I wish there was something I could do to help Aurea see herself the way I see her. Lane knows a thing or two about recording legacies.
I'm sorry.
For what?
You saw through the eye from the start, and I doubted you when I shouldn't have.
I have experience dealing with slimy, over-promising leaders, so foresight was on my side there.
I'm serious. I didn't realize he was capable of this.
No one could have predicted he would be manipulated so thoroughly. That level of incompetence is hard to foresee.
The Eye is the highest position of leadership within the Enclave. The most progressive place in the Maida.
One we've been told stories of our entire lives. It's become mythic.
The more time we spend here, the more I realize that those were practically fairy tales. I allowed myself to be blinded by his title. I need to be sharper next time.
Lane, I was wondering if you could help me with something.
What is it?
Well, it turns out Oria's search for her father wasn't just about finding her family.
Crusades into one's lineage rarely are. Let me guess. She didn't find the missing piece of herself that she hoped she would, and now she's having an existential crisis.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up.
It happens. So, what has all this really been about?
She knows she needs to retire, and she's struggling with what her legacy has been.
Ah, isn't it strange how the most accomplished people never seem to recognize their own success?
Yeah, I was hoping you could help with that. After all, isn't chronicling a legacy your specialty?
We could certainly commemorate her career with a written account. A lovely idea. I would suggest we personalize it with anecdotes from each of our traveling companions, as they've been in Oria's band longer than you or I. Would you interview them for me? Legacies may be my specialty, but you might have the leg up when it comes to connecting with others.
Sure, I can do that. Any tips on what to ask them?
Ask whatever you like. Maybe you want a few humorous stories in the mix? Or some readers prefer heartfelt. Why don't I start by interviewing you?
Me?
Of course. We'll need your input. What has Oria meant to you?
Oria was legendary to me before we met. To have someone like her give me unparalleled opportunity and responsibility, it means the world to me. She's a true guiding light in my career.
Great. I'll transcribe that and start her biography.
Bryn, I love what you're doing for Oria. How can I help?
What do you think Oria's bravest moment has been?
I think she's living through it right now.
How so?
Oria loves danger. Hunting wild creatures, delving into dark ruins, pushing the boundaries of her magical abilities. But in my opinion, moments of true courage come from facing your fears, and Oria's never been afraid of danger. But recognizing that it's time to let go of what she loves and step down, leaving everything she's built in your hands, that takes more courage than she's ever had to muster. I don't think she could do it if it weren't for you.
Wow. Thank you, Sola.
Happy to help.
I haven't known Oria for as long as the others, but she's done a lot for me. I'd like to help with your project if I can.
Of course, Sev.
What do you want to know?
You said Oria has done a lot for you. Tell me more about that.
After everything that's happened, everything I've done, she's just accepted me as part of the band. Until now, my position in life has always felt precarious. To just be accepted, no questions asked by someone like her. It means everything. She's given me a home. All of you have.
You'll always have one with us.
For the first time in my life. I actually believe that.
Thanks, Sev.
Glad to be of service.
Ah, good. We're all here.
Yes, we're here to talk about the stove.
Anyway, stove's not working. Campfire sucks by comparison. How are we fixing this?
Yes, please, let's talk about the stove.
How did we run out of coal anyway? I spent 2 days in Varentia working on that last batch.
Sure, but then we ended up in the Enclave. So now we need to find more. Also in the Enclave.
I don't easily have the materials to process another batch. But the temple might have some. I hate to admit it, but that was the one really useful thing I took out of my time with the Church of the Hallowed Pyre. They know their fuels.
Great! Temple. But what good's coal without a proper place to burn it for cooking? Sola?
If we're able to find coal like before, then it'll just be a case of reforming and reinforcing the old stove. I will need a few materials. I'll draft up a list for Bryn.
Good. Excellent. We're moments away from hot food. Go team!
So I'll...
Go team!
You know, a lot of points struggle with transitioning into a Watcher's role full-time. And there's never been a point more passionate than Aurea.
I know. I hope this eases her pain.
I'm sure it will. Now, what can I do to help?
What do you think makes Aurea such a strong leader?
She listens to her weaver's input when needed, yet remains decisive when a consensus can't be reached. The band I traveled with before fell apart due to disagreements over what our goals should have been. It was a difficult and tumultuous time in my career. I never wanted to live through that again.
I can relate. Traveling with Aurea is a completely different experience to my last band, too.
She has a clear vision for her band, and she chooses people that share her goals. Even when conflict arises, it doesn't last long, and Aurea can diffuse it quickly. That's because we can all trust that one another's intentions are good. Leading a weaver band is half the battle. Now, picking the weavers? That's the tough part.
Thanks for sharing, Dom.
Your idea to commemorate Aurea's career with Lane is lovely. How can I help?
What is Aurea's most impressive accomplishment?
It's tough to choose. But I always remember this time we were camping in the Sansa Plains. Aurea had heard of a drake a few leagues north of where we made camp, believed to be one of the biggest in the Maida. She left on an expedition, hoping to return with a few scales or maybe a tooth. Gone for hours, she came barreling back into camp at nightfall, dragging its entire hide behind her. We ate and drank like royalty for a fortnight with all the riches that hide bartered on the Imperial black market. I don't know which memory is fonder. All of us gathered around the fire, sharing a bottle of aged mead, or the look on her face when she dragged that hide into the campsite.
That's perfect. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Ugh, my hand is cramped. But the account of Oria's career is finished.
Great. I'll gather everyone if you're ready to present it.
I'll need to ice my quill hand. But, of course.
Let's hope she likes this.
She will.
What's going on?
We wanted to present the latest addition to Lane's archive to you, together. We all contributed, though credit goes to Lane for compiling and writing it.
I've titled it A True and Personal Account of Oria Silverbeak Harpinet.
What is going on?
We wanted to do something special to commemorate your time as Point.
You didn't have to do all this.
We did. You've done more for each of us time and time again.
No one is more deserving of a place in Weaver history than you, Oria.
So we took it upon ourselves to write you one.
As a thank you for everything.
I don't know what to say.
Lane, why don't you read just the opening?
Oria Silverbeak, as she came to be known, was born to Sharian Harpinet and Eugenius Osphine inside the Enclave just before the Surge.
Osphine.
Though she never knew her father, her mother hoped Oria would follow in her footsteps as a skilled enchantress within the Maida. But Oria decided to become a Point, blazing her own trail. Something she would continue to do throughout her career, bigger and bolder each time. We'll let you read the rest on your own.
We hope this account will help you see yourself and your accomplishments the way we see you.
I'm at a loss. All I can say right now is thank you.
Bryn, I was so moved by what you did for Oria. It's clear she means a lot to all of you.
Thank you. She does.
But her father, Eugenius Osphine, I know who he is.
You do?
Yes, and I want you to make an offering for his grave. I can give you a key swatch to reach it.
Wait, you know where it is?
I do. And I'm sure Oria would love to watch you visit on the scry.
Okay, but shouldn't we tell her?
Trust me, this is something you should show her directly. Come back when you've got the offering and I'll give you the key swatch.
One of Oria's feathers would be beautiful as part of the offering for her father's grave.
You are hardly in any position to make lofty demands. The Council convened and unanimously stripped you of your role. You no longer hold the privileges of the Eye.
And how quickly did you convene that council? You hardly waited for my daughter's body to cool.
She is dead because of you. Because of your reckless behavior and deception, no less.
Hirun, how dare you? Every decision I've made, every action I've taken has been for her protection.
Abandoning her at the Grand Gate was for her protection. We all saw you on the scry. And that is Khan Artemay to you, Kenrick.
Is this a bad time?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
No. You're more than welcome at Cassidon's Hold. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you.
I came to offer my condolences. To both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Intellect can be taught, and creativity can be cultivated. But the kindness Isla embodied is rare. She helped our quartermaster through her darkest hour. I'll always be grateful for that.
She was exceptional. It's hard to imagine the Enclave will ever recover from this loss.
Then why are you so opposed to giving her the funeral she deserves?
With the Surgeborn swarming Denevron, we can't risk a trip to the Hallowpire Rise.
For generations, every Stanild has received the rite of ashes upon death. Isla will not be the exception to this.
Could I perform the rite on your behalf?
You? Don't tell me you're a Hallowpire priestess on top of being a righteous pain in my ass.
Skies, do you want a funeral or not? She's our best option.
Isla saved my life. I want to help you honor her death.
I suppose you do owe her that. Fine. For the rite of ashes, you need to burn an object that was sacred to the deceased upon the high pyre. As you collect the ashes, you must read a rite aloud to thank the flames for bringing the deceased to rest.
Do you have an object that was sacred to Isla?
Isla's most prized possessions aren't in Cassidon's Hold. She had a secret refuge in Dredger's Mire. You're sure to find something. She was always sneaking away at night to work there.
You knew she was sneaking out of Cassidon's Hold.
I knew my daughter better than she realized. Return to me with the ashes.
Thank you, Bryn.
Ridiculous! The Stanilds have been receiving the rite of ashes at the Hallowpire Rise for generations. That Hiram doesn't want to send a mourning party is an insult to her memory.
That's not fair. You know Khan Atame would love to give Isla...
Don't say her name.
All I'm saying is the Axel lost someone too. You don't need to make this harder on her.
And who, pray tell, is working to ease my pain? The answer is in the silence. No one.
Hey, I can't imagine how you must be feeling.
I am broken. Everyone wants a piece of me. Regardless.
Because you're in charge.
For now. Someone had to be. I don't know how I'm supposed to carry on like this. Without her, my support is gone. My foundations crumbled to dust. She wouldn't want me to cry. So I won't.
You can if you need to. I know our Weaver Band is still fairly new here, but you've got our support. All of us.
The funeral will honor her memory. Even if it's not what he wants, she would understand that it's enough. One day at a time, Bryn. That's all we can promise to ourselves.
You mentioned you were in charge. Does that mean you're the new Eye now?
So the council is larger than just the 3 main representatives. As you heard, we convened and unanimously agreed that Kenrick had overstayed his welcome in the role of the Eye. So he's been stripped of that, and by default, that means I'm in charge. Emergency authority. Am I the Eye? No. And nor do I particularly want to be right now. But when the time is right to hold elections, we'll do so. We need to break this cycle.
What cycle do you mean?
Council seats weren't permanent before the Surge. That idea was Kenrick's, and it's clearly not worked out for us. So again, once we've solved this crisis, we'll chart a new path, assuming we survive. After all, we could all be dead this time next week.
I'm going to let Arik power the scry for your run with the Blue Bryn.
Appreciate it, Aurea.
You could use the practice.
That might be Isla's secret refuge. Exactly where Lucia's working. Isla dedicated her life to restoring the Arks. Don't. We will need to continue the research. For now, what might she consider sacred for the Rite? To the Archons. That's sweet. Dom, do you think this could work for the Rite of Ashes?
It's perfect.
Isla also had a copy of On the Workings of Archons, marked with annotations, just like Lucia's. Wait, I'm losing you.
You hear me better now?
Yeah. Weird. The scry was cutting out.
Strange. At any rate, the book could be useful. Once you've completed the ritual, I'll take a look.
A letter from the Axel. I should take it back to her. I'll need to place the toy ark on the high pyre. This place never fails to impress. Just imagine it before the veil went up. Wouldn't have had to scavenge for alchemically treated coal at any rate. Sad to burn such a sweet toy. ashes. Though the flame abates and the ash grows cold, let she who worshipped you rest in eternal warmth.
Beautiful, Bryn.
I'm sure I was.
There it is again. The scry is cutting in and out. Dam? Aurea?
Leah, can you hear me now?
You're back.
While you bring the ashes to Cassidon's hold, I'll analyze the scry. Something strange is afoot.
The last conversation I had with the Spindle was about Ira's plague. I went to Cassidon's Hold to visit her.
Really? Well, my understanding was that she didn't experience it herself.
No, but she understood being stigmatized by it. Even though Ira's plague affects many races, most believe it only affects Kashar. I haven't known many others like me throughout my life. Not intimately, at least. It was nice to speak with someone who understood that part of me.
I'm glad you got that chance.
Agreed. We never know how much time we'll have with someone.
Too true.
You're going to speak to the Talon?
I don't expect to get much out of it, but yes.
Be careful. Clearly the Talon was able to manipulate Kenrick. And while I know you're not the idiot he is, speaking to that thing is risky.
I just have to find out what I can. If the Talon has any insight that can help us.
It's a risk worth taking, I know. Just don't reveal anything in the process.
I performed the rite, and I brought you the ashes.
Thank you, Bryn. Isla admired you. She would be honored that you did this for her.
It's not how she would have wanted things. I should have been there.
Enough! I know you're grieving. We all are. But you are no longer the Eye, and this disrespectful conduct ends now. You owe Bryn a thank you. And an apology for that matter. And probably a great deal more than that. Not only has she gone out of her way to perform the rite for your daughter, but she saved us all from certain death at the Grand Gate too. None of which she would ever have had to do if it weren't for your...
For my actions! I know! I know! It's all my fault. I should have been there. Not at the temple. At the Grand Gate. I should have stayed. The way she looked at me when I left her there. I'll never forget it. I could fill a city with my mistakes. I should have supported her work. I should never have lied to her. My regrets will drown me.
Maybe they should.
Maybe they should.
My mother used to say, you can drown in your grief, or learn to swim in it. It is unfair that you lost a child, no matter the circumstances. I am so sorry that happened to you. But now you have a choice. You can spend the rest of your days counting the ways you failed your daughter. Or you can dedicate every breath you have left to her.
How?
Just do one small thing a day that would make her proud to call you her father. Start by helping us finish the work you wish you had supported in her life.
It's too late for that, I'm afraid. If you'll excuse me. But there is one thing. The Ark in your camp, the one she wanted to restore. It's called the Ark of Verdance. An enchantress named Lucia de Crassus built it.
Lucia.
Consider it a thank you for what you've done.
Is there anything else you can tell me about the Ark of Verdance?
Please. I've had enough. Just leave me be.
Fine. I understand.
I knew you'd be back. Dreadfully predictable.
And here I thought I surprised you. Or was your herald getting kicked back to the source part of the plan?
Don't steal credit. Your great icon pushed us back, not you. And I'm quite certain it didn't survive the battle. Judging by the way you charged straight to the Grand Gate upon hearing my plan, you favor misguided heroics. Let me guess. You're going to try for a rematch.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Let's not lie to each other. I like you.
Can't say the feeling's mutual.
Come now, I want to be confidants. Friends, even.
Fine. Let's be friends. Why don't you tell me what the Surgeborn are after so I can help you get it?
I told you, don't lie to me. But because my offer of friendship is genuine, I'll tell you. I'm after the same thing you're after. Magic. And the power that comes with it.
But Surgeborn already wield magic.
Not nearly enough of it. You know the lust for magical power is insatiable. Why else are you risking everything to tear strands of it from behemoths?
I'm not power hungry.
Don't lie. Especially when your actions betray your words with such ease.
How did you end up down here anyway?
I let myself be captured.
Why?
It became apparent that I wasn't going to uncover the secrets behind the Enclave's power by razing its capital to the ground. Though I do miss the razing. Still, I needed intel that I could only get from the inside. So I allowed myself to be captured and waited until the leader of the Enclave came to visit me alone one day. Kenrick had influence, and insecurities, making him the perfect target. He felt quite special that I only spoke to him. It helped that he assumed our herald couldn't pass through the Grand Gate when he staged his attack.
How did it get through? The resonance modulator should have filtered out Surgeborn.
You didn't have a sample of that particular Surgeborn.
In my experience, Kenrick Stanold isn't exactly the trusting type. How did you convince him to open up to you?
I played the part of his distressed prisoner.
Please, don't hurt me. I'll do anything you ask. I'll tell you anything you want to know. Just
Let me live. He was all too willing to believe I was helpless. After all, that would mean he had power.
The Hearthsiders believe you were born out of the Surge. Is that really where you come from?
I will keep some secrets to myself. For now.
I thought we were friends.
Not yet. But we will be. And when that day comes, I will share more with you.
Kenrick Stanold is in rough shape after being your confidant.
I would never treat you like I treated him. You're different. Special. Trust me. In time, you'll consider us kindred spirits.
Doubt it.
See you soon. The rite of ashes you performed for Kenrick's daughter was quite a display. I almost shed a tear.
How do you know about that?
I have eyes everywhere.
You're watching me through the other Surgeborn.
There are no other Surgeborn. We are one and the same.
Almost like the way bees work together in a hive?
If that makes it simple for you, close enough. Anyway, pity you couldn't save her. Is that why you dropped everything to perform a funeral rite for someone you barely know?
She was a friend, and you murdered her. Don't expect to survive long enough to kill someone else I care about.
Technically, I did not kill her. Her limitations are what destroyed her in the end. Funny how magic often provokes overreaching in your kind.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
You deserved better from him. But that was probably all he's capable of. Come to think of it, we all deserved better from him.
What will you do now?
Take care of my people. Someone needs to. And you? You're going to try to fix the arcs.
We learned the Surgeborn have something that can go toe-to-toe with the Great Ark. I need to finish what I started. And I think Isla's work can help me do it.
I wish I could help, but arcs were Isla's expertise, not mine. Still, I agree. That arc allowed you to pass safely through the tangles, where Surgeborn go to regenerate. If you're going to try to fix it, consider me heavily invested in your progress.
It's too great an advantage to ignore. I'll keep you updated.
My light. I remember the day you were born, vividly. When I held you, my heart was so full it threatened to break. And I know your mother felt the same way. For all her flaws, she would be so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Dom, the interference I'm experiencing during expeditions is concerning. Is there any chance our scry is degrading like the ones belonging to the Enclave?
I'm still investigating, but my initial reaction is that it doesn't feel the same.
As long as it doesn't give out on us completely in the meantime.
However, I have taken a look at the Spindle's copy of the workings of Archons, and thankfully, the writing is far more legible than Lucia's. And her notes are significantly less paranoid at that.
About that, Kenrick Stanold told me that Lucia wasn't just tinkering with the Ark we followed through the Veil. She built it. The Ark of Verdance.
That is quite the revelation. What was it for?
That was all Kenrick could tell me. Or wanted to tell me. But Sev mentioned that Kenrick had been feeding Isla information about a failsafe for the Source. Could the Ark of Verdance be the fix she was working on without realizing it?
Yes. Yes! That could be it. Genius, Bryn. On my side, I dug into her notes. She was working on a way to fully restore our Ark for us. She was so close to a schematic, intricate, elaborate, masterful. And I finished it. Solar has the final design ready for you. Essentially, we'll be creating a power core for the Ark. Most notably, we'll need a special part, a bar of shaped coral. This is the final key for an Ark to be functional on its own without a Weaver channeling magic into it.
If we had built a power core earlier, could her death have been prevented?
She only made this discovery in the final days of her life, through researching all the Ark parts we had supplied her. Her research even theorizes that using one's own magic to power an Ark for brief amounts of time could result in death.
So she knew she was going to die at the Grand Gate?
She knew exactly what would happen, and did it anyway. That's courage.
We can't let it be in vain. So, then the Ark of Verdance is our failsafe. Your design will get it running. Where can I find the shaped coral?
She suspected it was kept in the Archon's hearth, stored near natural coral deposits for its regenerative properties.